Hi there, Jen Roque here at stampcampwithjen.com. I am an independent Stampin' Up! Demonstrator in Summerfield, Florida, and welcome to my weekly Facebook Live. I was absent last week because we had spring break here in Florida, so we went on a little vacation, so I missed you guys. I'm happy to be back this week. We're going to have a really cool, really fun card, and I have some really exciting information to share before we get started as well. So we went to Alabama to see some family, and it's always really nice to get together with family. It was very quick. We were only there for a couple days, but luckily, since we live so much closer than we used to, we get to see them a lot more often, which is really nice. So we had a good time. My husband and son were both dreading going back to work and school this morning, of course. After vacation, it's always hard. Hi, Kay. Thanks for joining me. Hi, Sue. Oh, thank you. I love seeing you guys, and it was definitely hard. I missed you guys, but it's going to be a fun time today. I have a really cool, really easy card that you'll be able to use for anything. So, hi, Melinda. Thanks for joining me today. It's so bright and sunny. I don't know if you guys can tell my little window right here. It's still sunny outside since we did the daylight savings time. Hi, Carol. Hi, Diana. Diana and I went to lunch today. It was so nice to catch up with her. Hi, Roberta. Oh, you guys make me so happy. It's so nice to see everybody again. All right. Hi, Jessica. Welcome. All right. Let me go ahead and turn the camera around and I'll share some cool information. So this week, the new annual catalog comes out for demonstrators, so I'll get to see it, which is really exciting. And any of my demonstrator friends, you'll get to see it as well. And then I'll be able to order them soon, and the demonstrators are also getting to see like a sneak peek and a preview of the in colors right now, which is really cool as well. But let me get into all that information because the last chance products are coming, the retiring products are coming, which is what the last chance products are, and a lot of times those are at a deep discount and they go fast. So you really want to, if there's anything you're thinking about getting, you really want to prepare that wish list now, because as soon as that list comes out, sometimes within a few hours products are gone and you won't even realize they're gone. So it's really good to try to get in there really quick. But we'll go over that here in a second. Let me switch my camera around and get all my lights situated. I finally figured out my lights, I think, which is good. So you'll be able to see everything this time. So, all right. And I was able to flip it without giving you too much of a sneak peek, I think. Let's see here. All right, get some lights going. All right, and feel free to ask questions about anything as I go through this stuff. A lot of it is stuff you guys have probably seen before, but I will kind of explain the retiring products and the last chance products to you guys, okay? So first, I'll go over, I'm still doing my March mystery gift. So if you place at least a $50 order and use my host code, you can get a free gift from me. This is brand new product that's never been used. I do have like some paper sampler packs left over from Paper Share that I'm giving away too. So you could get, a little sampler of 6x6 from a DSP pack, or some gems, or, maybe a Wink of Stella pen, lots of cool things, but surprises are fun, right? So I thought this was a fun thing to do this month. So this is going on through March 31st. So in every single order gets a free gift, okay? So be sure to just use that host code, but you can also call me or email me and let me know that you want to place an order, and I can help you with that as well. It's not a problem, okay? Annual catalogs, like I mentioned a minute ago, annual catalogs are coming soon. So if you're not a customer of mine already, all you have to do is place an order with me by March 31st. It can be any amount. It doesn't have to be a specific amount. And then as long as you place an order with me, you'll be getting a free catalog. And I don't just send the catalogs. I send usually a sneak peek of the in colors so you can actually see them in person, which is always, I feel, better because you get an idea of what they actually look like. I sent some goodies like that last year. I send like a wish list and other little things, sometimes a little treat or something in there. So you can go to stampcampwithjen.com and see what I sent last year. I have pictures of everything. So I try to spoil you guys as much as I can with that kind of stuff. So if you have any questions, as always, please email me at stampcampwithjen.com. And remember, by March 31st, if you place that order, you'll be added to my list. Okay. Oops, it's upside down. All right. The Stamp and Cut, Emboss, and certain and select bundles that are compatible, meaning they'll fit through that little mini machine, are at 20% off, and that's all month long. So that is also through March 31st right there. So you can get these items at up to 20% savings. So that's a really good deal. I think that makes the mini machine like $48, which is a fantastic deal. If you're going to be in the Villages area on April 30th, there's 1 week left to sign up for my Stampin' Bingo. So this one's really special because you're actually going to be able to win new products from the upcoming annual catalog before you'll even be able to order them. The annual catalog goes live to customers May 3rd, and as you can see, our event is April 30th. So you'll be able to win new products before you can even order them from the annual catalog. So if you'd like to join us, it's $45, and you need to let me know by next Friday, April 1st. That's the deadline to sign up and to pay. Okay, I take checks, cash, whatever. I could do PayPal. Just let me know. This one is what you guys have been waiting for, I think. Retiring and carrying over list. They now call it the last chance products. I don't know why they always change the names of stuff. It gets confusing, but that's what they decided to do. So last chance products is what it's called, but we know it as retiring list, and then the products that they'll carry over to the new catalog is the carryover list. So I will have this information on my blog, or probably around 5 o'clock. It takes me a little bit to compile the lists and put them on my blog, but if you don't want to wait that long, and I don't blame you, they should be on the Stampin' Up website at 3 o'clock. So you should be able to just go to stampinup.com at 3 p.m. Eastern time to see the list of everything. It'll probably be front and center as soon as you go to stampinup.com. It'll say last chance products. You just click on that. If you decide to purchase anything, I hope that you will shop with me, Jennifer Roque. And you could use that host code, and when you shop with me this month, you'll still get that mystery gift as well. So don't forget, that's another way, you can get your favorites at a discount plus earn freebies with my mystery gift. Okay. So just think about that. But like I said, whatever you decide to do, please start thinking about what you want, because especially those in colors that are retiring, the 2020 to 2022, that's like Misty Moonlight, and let's see, I have it in my catalog here. All these colors here: Cinnamon Cider, Just Jade, Bumblebee, Magenta Madness, Misty Moonlight. These are all going to be retiring, so I can almost guarantee that anything that has these colors in it that people are going to try to grab and shop quickly, these are going to go first. So if you want any of that stuff, I would write it down and go through your list with a fine-tooth comb, because like I said, especially the really popular stuff, it always goes fast, and I would hate for you to miss out on that. I also did a blog post about the retiring in colors. You can go to stampinup.com and see it, and I talk about, there's like DSP and ribbons and embellishments. It's all that stuff is more than likely going to retire, so you can kind of see what I predict will retire, and I have a complete list on my website, and you can kind of get an idea of what probably will retire when they announce the list this Wednesday. Okay. All right. So let's get into the card. This is so cool. I loved making this card. This is what we're going to make today. Isn't that fun? And it's so easy. I love it. And we're going to use that new Waves of the Ocean DSP on the back, and we're going to stamp right on that. We stamped these little fishies on there. Isn't that cute? I just love it. Okay. So we're using the Seize the Day bundle, actually. We're using the dies and the stamps here. I always recommend getting the bundle because you can get them for 10% off when you combine with the bundle. And then this little guy, the little saying, the die is from the Tasteful Labels dies. That's where we got that one from, okay? But you could, I mean, if you have a circle punch or something, that's fine. I just like the little, anything that has like a stitched look around the edge. I really like how that looks, okay? So let's get, I have my little kit cut out here. What did I do with it? Oh, here. Now, I didn't use these, but you absolutely could. I think the opal rounds and those new rhinestone jewels would go really nicely with them if you want to embellish it anymore. I started playing around with it, like putting them on there, but honestly I feel like it's got so much with the fish and the octopus and everything, it really doesn't need it. But I know some people just love, love, love bling and want to bling everything out, which I totally get. I normally do too, so that's an option if that's something you want to do, okay? So for our kit, we're going to use Coastal Cabana, which is one of my favorites. It's like a, you know, like a light teal color. And we're actually, the card fold, it's a top fold card, not a side fold card. So I just thought that was kind of more fun for this one. That's what I was feeling when I came up with it. I've seen a lot of cards very similar to this too, that other demonstrators have created. I think we all kind of had the same idea with this card. So, all right. So we'll just fold that in half and crease it or burnish it with our bone folder. Now I have, so look at this paper, right? You have this one that's really dark and busy, which is really pretty, but since we're gonna stamp these little fish onto the background, you're not gonna be able to see it very well with that darker color. So I'm actually gonna flip it over and use the lighter waves. That's the color that we're gonna use first, okay? So you could do it this way or this way, you know, it's however you really feel like you wanna do it. And I think I might do it that way. But I'm not gonna adhere that just yet because I wanna take my basic white piece. It's the same size. These are both 4 inches by 5 1/4 on both of these. They're the same exact size, okay? And what I'm gonna do with this one is the die in that C die, it makes this like little background cut out with the bubbles and everything. So we're actually just gonna center this right on that white, that basic white piece, and we're gonna die cut that first. Okay, let me get my big shot. And I've mentioned this a couple times, the magnetic plate for the Stampin' Cut emboss machine, Stampin' Up! Said they will be releasing it soon. It could be as early as the annual catalog, but since they don't have it yet, I still use my Big Shot because I have a magnetic platform for it. And I don't like to use washi tape on my paper. It always ends up ripping it. And I just like the magnetic plate better. So we're gonna center this. Oops, you can't see that very well. Sorry about that. So we're gonna center this die on our basic white sheet, and we're gonna die cut that. And even though there is a magnetic platform that I'm using to kind of hold the die in place, whenever I put my top plate down, I always do it at an angle and then push down. I don't just shove it in because you can still kind of shift it. So I always take one end and angle it in and then fold it flat, if that makes sense, so that you don't have to worry about your die moving around on you. So, all right. So see this die cut, that little piece right there. I have all my little pieces that I got to get rid of later. Actually sooner rather than later, because I'm gonna have to die cut again. I don't want it leaving impressions on my paper. If you have little pieces like this and you leave it on your plate and then you go to cut something over it, that extra paper will leave an impression on your paper that you're die cutting. So you always want to remove those pieces, okay? So now you just carefully kind of pop this out. Okay, that's that little center piece here. And just kind of use your fingers. Don't yank it out, because if you do, you'll tear these little, like, what are those? Like coral pieces, I guess. Every time I say coral, I think of coral when if you guys watch Walking Dead, you know, and he was towards the end of his time on the show, and they go Coral, and so anytime I hear Coral, it sounds like that because they said his name so weird in that show. All right, so we popped all that out. So see, it makes like a beautiful scene, like an underwater scene. Now this piece, it's scrap, right? But what I did was I stamped the sentiment piece right in the center here. So we're going to use that scrap to cut this piece out, okay? The octopus is a little too wide to do it on that piece, so you are going to need a little bit of scrap paper for the octopus, but for the sentiment I was able to get it out of the little scrap piece from this guy. All right, so we'll do that stamping together. We'll do this piece first. Okay. So we have our Waves of the Ocean Designer Series paper. And like I said, this basic white piece is the same size as the Waves of the Ocean piece. So you're going to want to center it right on there. But before we put anything together, we're actually going to take these fish. I just love that they have two fish that are facing opposite directions, so you don't have to worry about mirror stamping or anything. You just stamp. So we're going to take these fish and kind of figure out where exactly we want them to be in relation to this top layer before we adhere it, okay? So, and I like to stamp before I adhere anything in case I make a mistake, because it drives me crazy if I make a mistake and then it's already all glued on there. So you can kind of like lightly layer it on there and see, okay, well, and we're going to take Calypso Coral is what we're using for the fish. And I'm going to do this guy first and just lightly ink him up here. And then I kind of want him off to the side there. So I'm going to remove, you know, kind of figure out where it is and then remove that piece and say, okay, I want a fish there. And now when you put it over, it kind of looks like he's peeking in from underwater, right? And so that kind of gives you a good idea too, because you know, okay, there's a little bit of space up here. So we'll take the fish that's going in the opposite direction, and we know we can put him like right up above him. So I'm just going to stamp him right there. Okay, and now when we put that back on top, it looks like they're kind of swimming underneath that part, right? And then we'll do the same thing down at the bottom, but we want to leave some space over to the side here because that's where our octopus is going to go, and then up top is where our little sentiment is going to go. So we'll do the fish swimming towards the right there, and then I know, okay, I want him right about there, so I'll remove that and stamp. And then you see he looks like he's under the little coral pieces right there. And then we'll take the fish that's swimming to the left side now and kind of stamp him. Maybe like he's going right towards him. And now they look like they're under there. So they look like they're part of the little scene in the background, which is pretty neat. Okay. Now, before we adhere, well, we can adhere the little Waves of the Ocean piece now that we did the stamping on there. So we'll go ahead and take our adhesive. I like to use Seal, but you use whatever you're comfortable with. And we just kind of put it in the center here. All right, cute. Now, before we put this piece on, couple things. So first we want these little leaf pieces. I actually got this tip from Patty Bennett. She's another demonstrator. She's pretty popular demonstrator, but she took strips of the Waves of the Ocean DSP and there's this little die cut right here that looks like a little, I don't know, coral plant, whatever that's called, seaweed plant. And then we're just gonna die cut 2 of these on our Waves of the Ocean scrap that I have left over from making the card bases, which is perfect. So I'm just going to cut 2 of these, and it really doesn't matter. You can do, you know, this side or this. I actually kind of like this side for this because it's a little more saturated. But it's just so cool how it looks when it comes out. So see, my magnet's acting kind of funky. So again, I always take my plate, angle it down, and then lay it flat on top of my die so my die is not going anywhere. Okay. Okay, so there's one right there. You see it's got a little bit of different colors, a little bit of texture to it. And then to make it fit, I'm going to do it kind of upside down right there. And again, angling my plate in and then laying it flat so my die doesn't move. Okay. Perfect. And now we have two little, I guess they're like seaweed leaves. I'm not really sure what those are called. To study up on my marine biology, I think. All right. Get my machine out of the way for now. Okay, so now before we put these on, what I did was I just took a little bit of this Tombow liquid glue here. And on the little stem piece, you're just gonna take a little bit of glue right there. And then I just kind of popped it in one of these little holes on the bottom. And so the stem's behind there. And then you just kind of flip it over and press down so that that little stem is glued on the back and you won't even see it. I have a little bit of glue peeking out there, but that's okay. So we'll do the same thing on this one. So on that little stem, on the top part of the little stem, you're just gonna put a little liquid glue. And it just gives the card like a little bit of 3D effect. And then behind this little hole right here, I'm just gonna slide it in and then flip it over and press that stem down. And that way you can get a bunch of glue on it, nobody will even see it. And it'll just dry right there, right behind it. So you can see my little stem pieces right there. And now you have like a little bit of extra oomph to it. You could even do a couple more because there's a couple more of these little holes, but I thought 2 was plenty. I don't want to get too fussy with it. Okay, so now we'll do our other stamping real quick with the Night of Navy. So Calypso Coral is what we use for the fish, and then Night of Navy is what we're using for the octopus and the sentiment. So like I said, for the sentiment, we're gonna stamp it right in our little scrap piece that came out of the center here. So that's what we're using for this piece. And it says, wishing you oceans of happiness, which I think is perfect for anything. You just find somebody that loves, you know, the beach or anything like that, any underwater stuff, and that's perfect. So we'll just stamp it right in the center. Beautiful. And then I'm gonna get a scrap piece of basic white and I'm gonna stamp our octopus in Night of Navy as well. And I'm gonna do it this way so I have enough room to die cut him. Beautiful. Okay. And then we'll bring our trusty Big Shot in once again. And this I can die cut all at once because there's 2 different dies. So we're gonna take the Wishing You Oceans of Happiness, and that Tasteful Label die is gonna go right over the top of that one. And then our octopus, and there is a die just for him. Oh, let me get my little pieces out there. Yeah. So for Florida, this especially, or any place tropical, this is perfect because people love, you know, the beach or anything like that. You could use it for, you know, beach wedding would be perfect. That would be a good one too. So you just want to center that octopus in there too. And then we'll put our plate on top and we'll die cut these all at one shot. Oh, I think my octopus did get a little, see, so you really have just enough for that. Now we can throw this away. We don't need that anymore. I think my octopus might be a little, oh, it's not too bad. I thought he moved, but it came out pretty good actually. So there's the little octopus guy there. All right, so now we're done with our die cutting machine finally. Okay, so now we'll put this together and we're really just about done with this. So I popped this up with my dimensionals. So we're just gonna take a bunch of dimensionals and put it all over. Make sure that it'll stand up. I just like, you know, when it has all these layers, you know, it has the seaweed element and then the octopus. I actually pop up the octopus too. So you just want to really take your dimensionals, especially those little side pieces that are a little bit smaller, and you want to put them all around the edge of the frame because you don't want anything buckling because it's not adhered on there really good. So just try to make sure we get it around there as much as we can on the sides. Dimensionals are cheap. You don't need to worry too much about wasting dimensionals. You get 3 of these sheets for $4, so we can definitely go through some dimensionals, no problem. And there's also mini dimensionals, which probably, thinking about it now, would probably be better to use on this, but I'm just so used to using the regular size ones that that's what I always end up using. So, all right, so we'll take this off. Is this a preview for Stamp Camp, Pat? You are so smart. Yes, ma'am, it is. You guys know my tricks. You know that you get a sneak peek of Stamp Camp projects. This is actually the second one that I've shown you already. I'm sure you can guess what the other one is that we'll be doing for Stamp Camp, but this is one of them. You are absolutely correct. All right, so just center that over that designer series paper as best you can. And mine's a little crooked, but that's okay. It's homemade. Nobody's gonna say anything. They'll just be happy to get a card from you in the mail, right? They'll appreciate that you thought of them. You made them a card. Okay, so this one, this guy is gonna go up here, but because our frame is popped up, we're gonna put a little dimensional where he's gonna be right here. So I'm gonna take a teeny tiny one, or just cut one in half maybe. I'll take one of these edge guys here. And let's see, where is it gonna go? It's gonna go right up top here. So I'm actually gonna put it right next to these little bubbles. I'm gonna put 2 of these little edge piece ones, the little edge dimensionals that you get right there. So I'm gonna put another one probably right there. It fits perfectly. And then because laying it down, this part needs to be adhered, so I'm just gonna kind of flip it towards me and put a little bit of seal right there. Or you could use liquid glue too. That liquid glue actually is great because it gives you a chance to kind of move it around before it's not permanent right away, so you can move it around in case you accidentally put it in the wrong spot, which is nice too. So we're gonna put it right there. And then the last one is this little octopus guy. So I actually kind of tuck him behind the little leaves here, but I'm still gonna pop him up in the middle on the back. Where did my dimensionals go? They're right in front of my face. It's like when you say, where are my glasses? And they're right on top of your head. Handmade, yeah. What did I say, Sue? Homemade? Probably. My words, I can't remember anything anymore. I'm always messing up my words. Oh goodness, that's all right. Okay, so like you just kind of put 3 little dimensionals on there wherever you can fit them. Definitely one on his head and then a couple in his body. And then I'm just gonna take his little tentacles and kind of tuck them behind these little leaves right there. And then he'll be in the front and center right there, kind of popped up. And that's it for that little card. Very easy. There's a couple steps, but you know, you just stamp right on that paper, you pop a couple things up, and then homemade sounds not as nice. Oh, Sue, I know. Oops. You know what I mean. You guys are so funny. But like I said, if you want to bling it up a little bit more, at Stamp Camp, for those of you that will be joining me, I will have opal rounds and those new rhinestones. But when I started putting them like in the corners and stuff, I was like, it's kind of busy as it is. So I just left it. But everybody has their own vision. And by all means, you can always bling it up if you like more bling. So thanks, Roberta. Thanks, Kay. All right, guys. Well, I hope you enjoyed this card. I hope it was worth the wait since we didn't get together last week, but I'm so glad to be back, and I can't wait to share another card with you next week. Next week is going to be a really fun one. It's interactive, which is my husband and my son's favorite. Anytime you can have a card that you can move around and do something with, they love it. You just got this set, Sue. Oh, I know. This is perfect for Florida. Any sea stuff is great. So I bought this like a month or so ago, and then I finally got it out and played with it before I went on break, and I love it. I just can't get enough of it. I want to play with it even more and make more stuff. But I love how simple this was, and you can use this sentiment for anything. So it's really great. Thanks, Diana. I'm glad you enjoyed it. All right, guys. Well, if you're a newsletter subscriber, be sure to check your email Wednesday morning. I'll be sure to send out a reminder about the retiring products list and all the details with that. Hi, Sylvia. Thank you so much. So I will send out an email. If you're not a newsletter subscriber, please pop over to stampcampwithjen.com and sign up for my newsletter. You get information before anybody else, and I send a weekly Friday newsletter with lots of tips and updates, okay? Thank you so much for joining me, and I hope to see you guys again next Monday, same time at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. And until next week, happy stamping and be safe. Bye, guys.